Okay, so we're going to give this a shot again and see how it goes. This simulation, I know the word simulation can be somewhat of a bad word if you've taken the CAPSIM class or if you've heard about it, but I hope this simulation and my experience has been that this simulation is a lot more manageable and actually a little bit of fun. The presentation I'm going to give you right now will just kind of explain a little bit about why we're doing the simulation. Then I'll actually walk through kind of the decisions you can make, how to use the actual simulation. But I'd also recommend that you go through the materials, the videos, the reading, especially for the quiz. Take the quiz in all preparation to do the simulation. I hope everyone is safe and doing well. Quite a emotional roller coaster of times. Been a very interesting experience for all of us, and I hope for the best soon for everybody. So with this simulation, as you'll learn, you are going to be the newly appointed CEO of Minnesota Micro. And I'll get a little bit more into that, but I just want you to understand a little bit about the focus of the simulation. It's very targeted towards marketing decisions, so you don't have to worry so much about other things. Of course, your marketing decisions will impact your finances, which will obviously then impact your budgets. So in this case, three main areas of focus is that you're managing markets, segments, and customers. And one of the things that I want to talk about is kind of the scope of the simulation. And the first thing I want to address is channel conflict. We use this word a lot, channel marketing, in business. And I don't think it's been well defined, or you probably haven't defined it well in your studies. And when we say channel marketing, it can have two meanings. It either means that you use somebody else to do your marketing, or in a more general sense, channel marketing is about what is going to be your method, your medium, your way of marketing as a company. What channels are you going to use? So, for example, are you going to use a sales force? Are you going to use distributors? Are you going to use manufacturer reps, so representatives? Are you going to do it online, digital marketing, social media, every kind of medium, trade shows? So that's what a channel is choosing kind of the best place for your company to do its marketing to hopefully have the best impact. And you could do multiple channels, you could do single channels. For example, I worked at a company that we were originally just a direct sales, so we'd actually sell with our sales force. And then we moved into the Microsoft space, and Microsoft sells through distributors and through other, so you can't sell direct. So Microsoft uses other people. So we had to change our entire sales model, and that was very, very difficult for our company. So you're going to be looking at both your segments. So when we talk about segments, you should have heard this word a lot if we talk about segmenting the market. Well, the same thing has happened as a company as you've got these segments. Large customers, small customers, you even break up the large customers a little bit, understanding what their needs are and kind of what their behaviors are. So you'll be able to break it up and kind of see those. You'll be able to kind of observe and watch the competition and their behavior and their reactions to you. We'll talk more about that. Market conditions, you'll kind of see what your customers are expecting, what they want, what the quality is needed. You'll get market research if you pay for it. That market research can become very beneficial to you to know how things are changing, especially pricing. That's a hint. You can make investments. So the investments that you make on terms of the quality of the product, if you choose to do that, you can make those decisions. And then of course pricing. Pricing is always something that I think there could be an entire class on pricing because of all the different pricing methodologies that are out there. But in the end, Most pricing just happens because the CEO picks a price and you start to go with it. Not saying that's the best way. That just seems to be the most common way that pricing gets decided. But you will be in charge of managing pricing, and I'll talk a little bit about some strategies there too. Okay, so understanding the market that you're in, you are a smaller company. You're not a new company. You're talking millions of dollars in revenue, so tens and twenties of millions of dollars in terms of valuation. The market that you're in is mature. It's not this kind of new, exciting startup. It's pretty set. It's very competitive. It's very technology driven. So you're in the medical device space. So you've got to maintain a level of quality that is necessary for your customers. So be thinking that kind of in terms of that strategy that the moves you're going to make are not going to have a profound impact every time, but it's going to be over a prolonged period of time, which is what I like about the sim. One of the things I like is that we need to continue to educate our executives that marketing is a long-term strategy. We do want some short wins and immediate wins, but in the end we want a strategy that's going to create business continuity for the long period. So that this simulation helps with that a little bit too. Okay, so a little about your competitors. Again, you are not the largest. You have some very, very large competitors who are going to react to what you do. So keep that in mind, that they have more money, they can outspend you, but they can't outmaneuver you. So you're able to make decisions and they're going to be more reactive to your decisions. But know that their reactions, here's a hint, their reactions may not be immediate. You might not see their reaction for a couple of turns. I might interact, when I say turn or quarter or periods, those are all the same thing about making decisions and watching it happen. I think every decision you make is 3 months worth of time. So just keep that in mind. So just kind of notice with your market research, with your competitors, with how many customers you're losing or gaining, kind of how those decisions are impacting. And those decisions that you make may not be immediate impacts. Keep that in mind too, that again, it takes a while to see results. Pricing will be pretty immediate, but other decisions may not. Okay, so we talked about segmentation. And you'll in the reading, you'll learn more about your segments, but you've divided it up into two segments in general: large customers and small customers. So large customers are 3/4 of your business. Small customers are a little over 1/4 of your business. However, the small customers, are so many of them that you can't justify a sales force to reach them. So when we go back to channel marketing, for large customers, yes, your sales force is going to directly serve them, but on your small customers, you're going to use distributors. So you're going to give the distributor a price, and that distributor is going to mark that price up and sell to small customers. So you have to balance the two segments, and even you have to balance the segments inside of the large customers, the 4 sub-segments. And the 4 sub-segments in your large customers, you'll actually get to watch videos, and I strongly recommend you watch these videos at the beginning before you do anything else. They're a little bit cheesy. They're actors, not that good of actors. So they're cheesy, but they're going to be really important to explain to you the demands that they have, the importance that they have. Some might be based on price, some might be based on quality. There's 2 quality improvements you can make to your product. In this simulation, they're called power to size ratio and thermal resistance. That's it. Those are the only 2 things that you can do. Some customers are going to want power to size, some are going to want thermal resistance. You have to decide where you're going to focus your efforts on, because you can't do everything. That's probably the most beneficial lesson that can come from this simulation, is that you cannot be everything to all. You want to, but you have a limited amount of resources, and you're going to have to make a decision as to where to apply those resources. But by making that decision, you are also making a decision of who not to serve as your customer, who you are not going to be to. So that's going to be very frustrating, but a great lesson that I hope you gain from this simulation. Okay, so we talked about the 4 subsegments in the large customer base. It's simple, A, B, C, and D. Okay, you have what each of these needs are. This is in the reading. This will be in their videos. They'll talk about kind of what you want. The chart here on this slide is really important because it's kind of showing you a snapshot of where your simulation starts. That you are kind of sitting out here, out in the middle a little bit. That's probably why the last CEO got fired, because he was trying to be everything to everyone and kind of sitting in the middle and not really owning a market share. Now you've got some loyal customers, and you need to go look and see kind of who that group is, because you don't want to lose them. That's what's paying the bills today. But the question is do you move more into that segment of your loyals and really make them loyal and grow that market segment? Or do you do enough for them but move yourself to maybe grab a second segment? That's a decision you'll have to make. But the point of this chart is that if you chose to be a low-end provider and low price, you need to make the decisions to be successful there. Same thing with high end. You have to make the decisions to successfully position yourself as a high end product. Or you can go directly against your competitor and take some of their market share. The nice thing is all strategies are rewarded if done appropriately. So there's no one way to do the segment, this simulation correctly. Okay, so that's what these next slides, I kind of got ahead of myself, but again, you can maintain the status quo, you can become a high-end leader, focus on them, that segment, or of course, focus on the commodity. So kind of went through those things really quick, but again, make sure that you make strategic decisions based on who you want to be in the space. That's kind of the balance of what you want to do. Okay, so these next slides are just kind of a review of basic management and business concepts. So again, you need to kind of balance that. The reason this slide is important is you are on a very critical point at the simulation that if you lose some money on your first couple of decisions, you will lose budget, and that can really hurt you. So your first decisions can be extremely impactful to your immediate situation, but you still need to be thinking about long-term soon, because over the long haul, you're going to be rewarded for long-term benefits. So be thinking about not only your strategy for that quarter, but what are you doing for kind of the next turn or next multiple turns thereafter. Okay, so all of that is important. Notice this underline here in this slide. If done right, the simulation rewards any effort to build long-term relationships with customers selectively. So if you find a customer segment that you can please and service the way that they want it, you'll be rewarded long-term for that. So keep that in mind. Okay. Again, reminder that you need to be selective. You can't win all the markets. I've tried many times. I've had lots of students try. It's a lot of fun to try, but in the end, it's very hard to be successful across all segments. Okay, pricing. Really important to look at pricing, and I'm going to give you a little bit of tips on this when I actually show you the simulation. But pricing is very impactful, right? It's one of the most immediate, foreseeable things with your customers and with your clients. I love this thing in the first, increase prices. Your market research will show you every quarter. Like this is a little bit, I guess, fake, because I've never seen where a customer will tell me what they're willing to pay. Sometimes, but it's rare. But your market research will actually tell you what the customer segment is willing to pay. So I love this. You might be leaving money on the table. If your customer tells you, I'm willing to pay $100 for your product, why would you charge $50? So be thinking about that your pricing strategy can slightly change. But make sure you get all the value that you can, because in this simulation, using market research will actually tell you how much you're going to get. Now, reducing prices. Again, if you reduce prices, they want more reduction. It's kind of a behavioral thing, right? If they see you discounting, they expect you to discount more. So just because you reduce prices and then improve quality doesn't mean that they respect the improved quality. It means they really like the reduced pricing. So pricing plays a really important role. It's kind of fun. And again, you will be able to practice And I expect you to practice and make a lot of mistakes in your practice to learn the behaviors of your customers and the behaviors of your competitors. Because that's the fun part about the practice, is you get to go through and kind of see that. And so when you first practice, and I'll show you, have a lot of fun changing this. You'll probably get fired, but then you just rerun the simulation and I'll show you that. So experiment with this. Market research, yes or no, you can choose not to pay it. It's $50,000. I will tell you that it is a very valuable information in terms of knowing what your customers are willing to pay, knowing what your competitors are doing. But you can always wing it. It's always up to you to decide what you want to do. Okay, the other element that this software kind of brings in is this concept of channel conflict. So small customers are supported by distributors, large customers are supported by kind of from you. So if you're going to have to price the two channels differently and hope that small customers don't talk to big customers. Because could you imagine if one of your large customers finds out that one of your small customers is getting a better price than they're getting? That could be pretty bad news. So this is going to come up, but your small customers are really price sensitive. So this is kind of that balancing. I mean, 30% of your business is small customers, so it's not somebody that you want to cut off tomorrow and just completely neglect, but it's also not where all the money is going to be in the future. So that's going to be a very tough challenge and balance just off the bat. So I'll let you figure that one out. Okay, just kind of the last slide here, last couple slides, understanding your customer, right? Monitoring your health. You'll get a report every quarter, every decision of what the customers are feeling. If they don't like your service, go watch the video again and they'll tell you what's wrong with your service, what they don't like. Are they not getting enough attention from your salespeople? Are they not liking your price? Is your quality down? So you'll actually get to go watch videos, and those videos will change based on how the customer is feeling about your performance. So be sure to use that. Okay. Customers' needs evolve slowly. They do want better quality, but little at a time. Okay, satisfaction is important. Expectations is based on past performance, but they want you to do a little bit better. That's of course kind of always how customers are. Customers are molded by our management decisions. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna skip through a couple of these, and what I wanted to kind of just show you is this. Loyalty is built by the firm, owned by the customer, eroded by time, the environment, and the competition. So keep in mind that you do need to spend quality time with your customer base. Really important to, once you've built a base that you know is your loyal customers, don't neglect them. If you neglect them, the competitor will come in and steal them from you. Customer loyalty is highly rewarded and highly valued. This is the kind of business place market that you don't want to lose your market share, because they'll continue to buy products from you over and over again. So the entire lifetime value of the customer is very significant and very important. Okay, with that, I want to show this one last slide. And I'm actually going to go ahead and pause right here and end the video, because it's about a gigabyte, and I think anything over a gigabyte we can't upload to Canvas. So I'm going to stop and start, and then we're going to my next video will kind of walk you through the actual simulation, what kind of options you have to choose and what you can do. So again, watch this one first. Well, it's too late to tell you that now at the end of the slide, but you get the point. I'll put that on there. Talk to you in a minute.